What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Buzzer Beater Podcast. I am here tonight with my dear friend Jason Perry, who is a professional basketball player from Inglewood, California. Has been playing here in Switzerland, professional basketball, and also in many other countries which I cannot list off my head. So, welcome again into the podcast, Jason.
Yo, what's up, bro? What it do? How you doing?
Nice to see you here again. So, right before we jump into the content we have for today, I just want you to tell us briefly about your career and how you ended up in Switzerland.
Yeah, man. So I played basketball like Inglewood High School, and I ended up transferring to two different colleges. First a D1, then I went to a D2, and a few years later, I ended up coming to Switzerland, playing, getting on the team, winning the championship. Yeah, MVP. It was all over.
You were MVP of the Swiss League?
Yeah, I got MVP of the finals.
Damn.
That was my younger years.
You're listed at 6'6", playing as a...
I'm really flat-footed. I'm close to 6'5".
Okay. Listed at 6'6", 198 for our European viewers. Small guard, small forward. Which NBA... Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Which NBA player would you say that your game resembled the most? Other than Jokic, of course.
No, not Jokic is the center.
I know. I hoop with you. I know you don't play like Jokic.
No, but I can post. I would say I'm more like a Westbrook. I play hard, always full energy. My shot is on sometimes. Sometimes I'm off. But I'm rebounding, I'm passing, I'm scoring.
That is true. I actually remember one game with you in the Roslistrasse here in Zurich when you had such a bad team. And I think I had Juanta and some other... I had a really good team, and I felt so bad for you because, you were the only reason why your team was still in the game. I think...
I just always come hard, and I expect everybody else to play hard. That's all. It's fun.
I was rooting for you. I wanted your team to win in a way because I felt like it was so imbalanced.
Yeah, it happens, man.
I'm always...
One man can carry a team at the park. I don't know, in the NBA.
Well, this was a great transition into today's content. We're going to start with an interesting one. We're going to start with what happened last night between the Los Angeles Clippers and the Denver Nuggets, the reigning champs. Jokic-less, Murray-less Denver team led by Reggie Jackson and DeAndre Jordan, who somehow resignated from the dead to put down, if I'm not mistaken, what was that, 25 points?
The dead, you said it.
21 points for DeAndre Jordan, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, accompanied by 35 from Reggie Jackson, 5 rebounds and 13 assists.
Reggie's a baller. I always believed in Reggie. He just don't get the runs the runs in the game, and he don't get the credit he get. But to me, he's always balling, staying solid.
At what point are we going to start respecting Reggie Jackson? Because whenever he gets the opportunity, he balls out.
We see. I mean, it's got to be consistent. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I'm not saying a team led by DeAndre Jordan and Reggie Jackson is going to get to the finals. It is more of a knock on the Clippers than it is to have my praise for these guys. I mean, it's wonderful to see, but I mean, if you have Russell Westbrook, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and James Harden, all of them playing, and Denver plays without their best 2 players.
All from LA. All
California guys who obviously do not mesh together, have had one of the worst records in the league since this trade happened.
You can't say not match. It's still boiling right now, man. We'll see what comes out. It's still mixing right now. We'll see. I'm not putting them out.
It is getting better, yet this kind of loss is bad.
Or maybe Denver's just playing, they're well coached. They playing championship ball. They had their night. It happens.
That's a bad look for the Clippers. I'm going to move ahead to the Lakers-Philly game, which was quite painful to watch for us Lakers fan or LeBron fans.
Yeah, the Lakers are, LeBron is 38. I mean, he can't carry every game. AD was locked up by Embiid. Let's just keep it real. He had 11, 12, 13 rebounds. But if you look at the stats, nobody had over 20 points. AD, LeBron didn't. LeBron had 18.
Yeah, the saddest thing is that on a bad game, I mean, LeBron had a bad game. I guess the entire Lakers team had a bad game. I don't know if he had a bad game. He took 12 shots and made 8. But this is one of Lakers' problems this year, that when LeBron doesn't perform like a prime LeBron James, this team is not good.
We can't expect a 38 30-year-old LeBron to carry every game. I mean, these other guys have to step up somehow. I thought Reeves, like they said, Reeves, he's proven to not be that guy. He's at the club partying. I don't know what he's doing, but it's just not happening. And I think he needs to play. Darvin Ham needs to play the Christian Wood, Anthony Davis more mix because Denver's a big team. Look at them. They proven having a big team, original center, power forward is working for them.
Christian Wood 0 from 5 from 3 last night, averaging 7 points a game.
Yeah. He needs to post up more. That's not the game though.
I'm quite disappointed, to be honest. I mean, I think he averaged 17 last year for Dallas.
Yep, and in Houston he averaged like 20 points. He was balling in Houston. That was his best year. So I know he's solid, but I don't know. Maybe we need to
get rid of Darvin.
In LA, we make quick moves, man. If it ain't working, it's something that I would keep AD.
I mean, this was one of my takes, and I mean, you've saw my YouTube short that when I was talking about it, I was extremely unhappy about their off-season moves because they gave up, in my opinion, their best perimeter defender in Dennis Schroeder, and they paid a bunch of guys who honestly had nothing to show but a one playoff run. Austin Reeves was not worth what do you guys 50 million for I don't know what. Austin Reeves was not worth this extension before these upcoming playoffs. Gabe Vincent, he wouldn't be even mentioned as a player that the Lakers are interested in.
Is he hurt now? He's not even playing.
He's not even playing, but the point is Rui Hachimura, he was a question mark in Washington. None of these players that the Lakers paid this offseason, none of them is an actual proven player. I was actually more hyped about Wood than anyone else, but right now their shooting is just terrible.
You don't have enough money to get other. LeBron and AD is taking most of the money. So they can only have enough money to afford. Yeah.
The point is, this is my question. If you're LeBron James and your net worth is estimated in over 1 billion. Your goal is to win championships. Why would you take 50 million off the Lakers cap space and not just take a minimum vet or something like that to allow the Lakers sign another big free agent?
They say money talks and bullshit walks, bro. That's just how it is. I don't know. They talking about Zach LaVine coming still or
no. Don't do that, please.
Lakers need somebody else that can...
Well, if I wasn't clear in the beginning of this podcast, Jason Perry is a Lakers fan. And as a Lakers fan...
I'm from LA, man. Of course, I'm from
As a Laker fan, he has the tendency to make rushed moves and to want a player like Levine to come to LA, which I think would be another terrible idea.
If you ain't cutting it, then you got to make the best move. Levine he ain't been consistent this year, but I don't know who else can you bring in?
That's a good question. What about an incremental change, kind of like what Philly did? So they got rid of disgruntled James Harden. They bring in Robert Covington and Nick Batum, who's, by the way, a great defender, knockout shooter. I mean, what about bringing two shooters that can defend? Sorry?
You're right about that, because I see them take a lead and then they don't score. I mean, they can't. This team go off 20 points on them. Like, come on, he's wide open. Who man is that?
I don't know.
Reeves showed some little something, but I guess I don't know what he's doing this season.
The Lakers are third from last at 3-point shooting, at a whopping 33.8% from the three.
Terrible.
That's terrible. By the way, the Oklahoma City Thunder are number 1 in 3-point shooting.
Gilgeous-Alexander is a baller, bro.
And I think he found his co-star in Chet Holmgren a bit too early.
Yeah. Check. I seen him playing in the Olympics, like high school, and I said, "Yo, I don't know if it was like they was high school going to college, but he was balling in, and I was like, yo, he's gonna be nice.
He's ready." And so while we're at this Oklahoma City Chet Holmgren topic, who's your bet for Rookie of the Year?
Of course, is Wemby.
I would respectfully disagree.
Who would you say?
Chet Holmgren. I mean, it's going to, as it is right now, if nothing changes. Chet is averaging 2 points less, if I'm not mistaken, on way better percentage. He's over 40% from 3, over 50 from... He's close to 90, 50, 40.
You got an argument with that one.
He's... he's in a much better situation, and... I don't know if you watched a lot of Spurs. I mean, nobody really did, other than these few games against Phoenix when everybody were hyping Wemby. But I've been watching a little bit of Spurs, and this Jeremy Sohan point guard experiment has to end.
Yeah. He ain't even passing the ball to Wemby enough.
He
We want to
doesn't.
see Wemby with the ball.
He doesn't.
I mean,
He find it hard to bring the ball up the court sometimes.
he's not even a point guard to me.
He's not. He's a forward.
Exactly. That's what it seemed like. He's slow as hell.
No, it's like an experiment by Pop. It's a Greg
They need
Popovich
to fire
experiment.
Pop needs to be out of here. Like his system, his beard, everything about him needs to get out of San Antonio.
Did you see? Did you see what he did with the Kawhi free throws?
No.
So Kawhi was getting booed really loudly from the crowd in San Antonio.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And Pop just went and grabbed the mic and he was like, "Would you stop with that? We're classy. We're above that."
I'm
And
still old school, man. That's why he still got this even system. How you letting a power forward in today's league be the point guard? He's not a Jokic.
you know what's my only
Not a
answer to
Giannis.
it? Because to think that we understand something that Pop doesn't would be quite pretentious. My only answer to this would be he's trying to lose more games to get another pick.
Seemed like it, right?
There is no other reason.
They sucked for the last 5-6 years though. He needs to. We don't want to see that, but I guess money wise, this crowd is still going to be there. So
Do you understand San Antonio's crowd for booing Kawhi?
yeah, because that's normal because he left.
I think it's
or
not.
is it something more serious?
I think
I'm
it's not
sure.
only the fact that he left, it's the fact that he was cleared to play. I don't know if you remember the Kawhi saga. He was cleared to play by the San Antonio's medical staff, and he had his personal doctor that said he cannot play.
Oh, you talking? Okay,
Which
that was during these playoffs.
yeah, which was basically the beginning of him pushing himself out from the best run organization in the association.
Yeah,
An organization with which he won a championship on, was it his second year?
yeah.
So I find it kind of hard to sympathize the man ever since. As I said in the beginning of this pod, I'm always for underdogs, and as far as I'm concerned, San Antonio is an underdog. Being from a small market, having a hard time signing free agents.
I don't consider them a small market. Years ago, they was with Tony Parker and Duncan and Robinson. They was even after Robinson left, they was still balling. Like they was still like the big team of the league. But
They were awesome, but they
who
were
wanna live in
built. They were built
Texas?
through the draft. When was the last time a big free agent signed in San Antonio?
Yeah.
I mean, you had LaMarcus Aldridge, but come on,
No, Aldridge was already washed. Aldridge best days was in Portland.
he was all right. He was all right.
I think Aldridge was consistent for a couple of years.
But that's what I'm saying. The highest a team like San Antonio can land in free agency is a guy like LaMarcus Aldridge. So they have to build through the draft, right? And once they drafted a player like Kawhi, watching him pushes his way out the way he did, for me, that's unforgivable if I'm a San Antonio Spurs fan.
Yeah, players have their reasons for doing stuff. It's more like the same thing. Dang, he just won a championship with y'all when y'all traded him.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think the players is like they do stuff because yo, we got feelings too, no matter what kind of money you paying. Because you can win the championship and the next year they trade you. And it's all because of money or somebody else they try to get. And they be feeling betrayed. So now it's kind of like, okay, I want to be out. I know another team want me anyway.
So you're
That's being the player. I'm coming from the player's point of view.
absolutely, I understand you. That's an interesting topic. I actually want to ask you your opinion about the whole player empowerment, and to take the worst examples out of it, of course, is the Ben Simmons saga and the James Harden saga.
Ben Simmons sucks. I'm not a Ben Simmons fan. I used to be, but he's a bum. I don't like Ben Simmons. He does nothing. He lived below his potential, way below.
It's clearly psychological with him, which is kind of sad.
Hey, from Australia, man, he came here and just seen a whole nother life. In America, Kylie Jenner, dating Kylie Jenner, okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, an open shot is an open shot, right?
He will never take it.
So that's what I'm wondering. If a guy like me that never played ball until I was 25 can hit an open shot, and you, Ben, who gets paid, if I'm not mistaken, 34 million this year, and you would just refuse to take the open shot?
He don't, you know what? Because he don't know which hand he want to shoot with. That's the problem. I think he even-handed. You know what I'm saying? He out there probably jerking. He don't know which hand he got to shoot with. So that's why he just oh, fuck, I'm going to drive to the rack. Pass it. Go post up. Shit. I used to like Ben Simmons because I didn't even care about him not shooting. But, he's 6'10", athletic. His post was solid when he get down low. So I don't know. I'm a Ben Simmons hater.
We all are. And I think Philadelphia 76ers are very lucky to have Daryl Morey actually get James Harden out of this,
Yeah.
and basically gave the Nets back a backup center who cannot shoot from outside 5 feet from the basket.
It's like he should have been. I thought James Harden would get blackballed a little bit. That was going around, but I mean, come on, he from LA. Well, he from the Valley, LA. But yeah, I don't know. I'm happy about the Clippers team, but I just it's like, man, y'all can't win with them.
That's the other thing that I find it very hard to respect in James Harden, because do you know why? What's the source of this James Harden saga?
He wanted to bring somebody else in.
So generally, Daryl Morey promised him a max contract
Mm.
last year when James Harden agreed to take a pay cut. So Harden took a pay cut in order to bring guys like PJ Tucker and can't remember who else. And in return, he was supposed to be rewarded with another supermax contract, which Daryl Morey ended up regretting and said, you know what? You're not worth the supermax. I don't know how much he did offer him. I'm assuming it was a beautiful amount of money.
Versus max, now it's super max. You just that word alone is like, okay, what you wanted 250 million.
Something like that, yeah. Whatever he was eligible for, maybe even 300 million because of the salary cap spike. Which I'm sorry, James Harden, at the age of what, 33? I don't see how you're worth another 4 year or 5 years extension guaranteeing you this money this late in your career. That's obvious that this would be a terrible contract.
He seemed like he's declining a bit. He don't even dunk no more. You know what I'm saying? But his step back is crazy. Like that left hand, I think left hand shooters, they shoot greater than right hand shooters. I mean, that's another topic, but Supermax, no. I think James Harden got like 3 years, bro. He's done.
That's exactly my point. So if I'm James Harden and Daryl Morey comes and say, "Hey, I can't give you the supermax. Here's 150 million for 4 years," similar what the Warriors paid Jordan Poole or whatever, doesn't matter. It's generational wealth, no matter how you look at it. And your career has been stained enough by pushing your way out of Houston, then forcing your way out of the Nets. And now you're doing it for a third team in 4 years?
I mean, he needs a big contract. The guy is blowing $1 million.
Do you think the Lakers are sorry, do you think the Clippers are going to pay him?
Bro, he's from LA. I don't know. LA they always can pull stuff off. Even that he's there right now playing.
Okay, so here's the issue with let me have a look just to be sure, but here's the issue with LA Clippers contracts. If I'm not mistaken, Paul George's deal is expiring, Kawhi's deal is expiring, and yeah, I'm right about that.
This year or next year?
End of this year. Sorry, next year. You're right. They have one more year. 48 million each one of them. James Harden will be a free agent at the end of this year. And they got, other than that, the only guys they have under contract are Norman Powell, Bones Highland, and
I like Norman Powell. He's a baller. He don't get a whole lot of time all the time, but he be consistent. He was balling in Toronto. Norman Powell's and Highland. Highland is, I don't know.
He's a lot of potential in this kid. That's the thing that I'm asking you now. If you're the Clippers and you got these two upcoming expiring contracts of Paul George and Kawhi, how much can you realistically pay Harden, which is more than what he would get paid in Philly? Obviously not.
Clippers he just wanted to be out of Philly, so he whatever he would take. He's from LA, so he would love to be there. I think that was a big point. Now,
obviously,
later in his career, now he's like, you know what I'm saying. But Clippers basketball is just somehow it's a jungle. It's always been a jungle.
It is.
No matter how many good players they have.
It is, exactly. And it's been kind of like a graveyard for good players because they were so stacked the last few years.
For real, that's the word.
So like a player like Reggie just gets no minutes there, gets traded into the Nuggets, turned into like great rotation player. Norman Powell, I mean, I think he can definitely be the third best player on a championship team.
Yeah.
Don't think he can be second best player on a championship team, but obviously here is like fourth or fifth to touch the ball.
Yeah.
So
he make the bet. His shot is, he got a nice shot.
He's a great player.
He get a lot of levitation on his shot, and he's strong. He gets to the rack, dunk on you. Like the Clippers, like you said, it's a. I don't know if is what it is. It's like they curse. I think about the team when they had Darius Miles, Amar Odom, Q Richardson. I don't know if you remember that team. That was a crazy team, crazy athletic, but it still is like I don't
Something
know,
always
man.
happens with the Clippers. Something always happens with the Clippers.
Yeah, man, it's something there that they just can't get it done. No matter how many good players they have, I don't know if it's the coach, it's just the organization.
If they don't win it in this run, I think, in my humble opinion, it goes towards a rebuild. I mean, all of these guys are getting into their mid 30s.
Rebuild? I don't know, man. That's what San Antonio been doing for 6 years.
Well, some rebuilds are faster than others. The Oklahoma City Thunder had an awesome rebuild.
Yeah,
Quick
it took.
one. Some people even start saying that this team might be better than Westbrook, Durant, and Harden.
I mean, man, I like the Thunder. They exciting. They got a lot of depth. Yeah. Can they stay healthy? Gilders Alexander be hurt through the year. Chet Holmgren was already hurt.
Yeah, he broke his foot like in preseason last year. But one question is, can they be healthy? Another question is, can they be paid? Because right now they all play on small contracts, right? Shea's already playing on a pretty big one, but they will all be eligible for nice extensions.
Yeah.
Would you be able to pay 8 players that much? This is one question they have to ask
I
themselves.
mean, come on. I wouldn't give all of them. Like, to me, Giddy haven't proved yet that big contract. I think he got a lot of potential, but he ain't consistent enough. I like Giddy game, so I wouldn't give him a big contract. Dort is all right.
Dort is the worst offensive player on this squad, I think.
Yeah.
But I mean, he
I
has
think
the
they got him
defense.
for defense.
Yeah, exactly. He takes good defensive assignments and he knows his role. I don't think he tries to do too much.
Yeah.
I think he was a bit overhyped as a rookie. I mean, I watched this entire series of Thunder versus Rockets, the Chris Paul
Yeah.
Thunder, this one nice magical year where they tried to tank and ended up in the 6th seed with Chris Paul. That's
I don't know. Thunder, they got an okay record right now.
So
I
let's-
see a good future for them long as Gilders is healthy and Chet Holmgren is healthy. They still finding themselves.
so let's actually go a little bit through the rankings.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm up trying to pull up these rankings.
So we're gonna, yeah, you can look at them as well. Let's start East because we kind of talked now a lot about the Western Conference.
Yeah.
And I want us to kind of give our predictions and our takes briefly on each of these teams and where do we see them realistically. I'm actually going to start with team on the 10th place, which is the Brooklyn Nets, which are stuck in a very weird situation. The reason why is because the team
Simmons
is...
hurt. Simmons is hurt right now.
Oh, who cares about Simmons? It's like their backup center or something. I don't even know why. I mean...
They still need him. I mean, the Nets, yeah.
So that's the thing about the Nets that important that people understand. The Brooklyn Nets do not own their picks. If I'm not mistaken, their picks have went to Houston in the James Harden trade, meaning that if they suck in the next 2 to 3 years, all of these picks would automatically go anyway to Houston. It will only benefit Houston. So they have no point in tanking, yet they're obviously not good enough to contend.
I think this year they gonna be okay. I mean,
They're basically stuck in
they
the...
made the playoffs last year, didn't they?
Sorry, go ahead.
Last year they made the playoffs, right?
Yeah, I mean, they were left the 4th seed when Kyrie and KD left, and they went down all the way to, I don't know what it was, 6th seed or 7th. I don't even know what it was. But they had no place in the playoffs. Come on. The only...
You know, to be honest, Brooklyn Nets, I can't even name every player on that team. I know the
Fair enough.
top, like Claxton and
Cam Thomas
Simmons,
Cam Thomas
Bridges.
has been a reason to watch the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh, Tom, yeah, Cam, yeah. I like his game.
How is it happening that like KD and Kyrie leaves and all of a sudden there is a guy picked 27 in the 2021 draft that nobody heard about and all of a sudden he's dropping 40 game after game?
Man, it's always slept on picks in the NBA. It's kind of Hollywood in the NBA. I got to see when I was in high school, my boy was McDonald's All-American, and he was going to the NBA at a high school. And, you know, he ended up making some choices where he didn't get drafted. But, you know, some people got hype, and they'd be hype. And then the sleepers stay consistent, and then once they get to the NBA, you know, if the ball is put in the right hands, I mean, on the right team, then you get to see it, you know.
Jason, so here's my question to you. You played professionally, and this is a great example of how situational a player's success can be depending on which situation he's put in. So like, take Cam Thomas, for instance. You put him on a stacked Brooklyn Nets team. Nobody even hears about him. You get a minute here and there. You put him on a kind of rebuilding team. I don't even know what to call them. And he's a star.
Yeah.
How much of your situation actually contributes to your personal success as a player?
I mean, man, I understand, you know, your way out the hood is getting that scholarship to college and and playing no matter what sports you play and looking forward to just basketball takes you through a whole lot of avenues and just the level of the game you pursue it and I came to make it to the NBA and get that.
Can you recall an example, for instance, of you playing with a good point guard in any of the teams you played, and all of a sudden you feel like your game was elevated thanks to that?
To be honest, those moments I had was in high school when I was playing. We had a great team, like playing with some guys like that played like Allen Iverson that was getting scouted ever since ninth and 10th grade. From my high school came a lot of players like, yeah, well, one of the notable names is like Paul Pierce. And man, these guys in high school before and some of them never even made it to college. That's the crazy thing because they was already getting money and having agents in high school, having cars, the hopes of you making it because you was already so good. And yeah, to play with, to answer your question, to play with like a great point guard, me, I was like just quite athletic and he already knew where to always put the ball, give it to me. And that would just like I don't know, you would like zone out in the game. You know what I'm saying? Especially playing with somebody who just know how to find you all day. No, yeah. It's
I mean,
basketball is something that changes your mind state.
I'm sure that talent will prevail eventually if a guy is that good, but I feel like the NBA especially has so much like sleeping talent. So many players that if they will just get the minutes, they can show the world that they can actually be an all-star.
I think the problem, in the NBA now is the game has changed. So, the offenses have changed. You come to a lot of ISOs and then it's, pass it out into three. Every guy first nature ain't to shoot the three in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Not if you don't got the green light. So it kind of hinders a lot of people's game. And even some of the athleticism, I think you don't get to see as much because the way the offenses are ran, set up to hit the three-pointer and yeah.
So here's my quick trivia question for you. How many points did Cam Thomas average last year and how many is he averaging this year? No,
Well, I would even have to.
I wouldn't know that.
Off the top of my head, I would say this year this is kind of a guess. This year he averaging what, like 22 points?
He's averaging 27 points per game.
Oh, wow. I need to bring up. I was actually just looking at that. The Embiid is number one, right?
Correct.
32.
So he's averaging 27. And check this out, Jason. Last year, Cam Thomas was averaging 10.6 points a game. A 17-point increase in a year.
They trade some players?
Sorry?
They trade a few players. He's averaging 27 right now?
He's averaging 27. Did they trade? Yeah, they traded a few players. They traded Kevin Durant. They traded Kyrie Irving.
Oh, yeah,
They traded a lot of shooting out of this team, which basically gave up so many shots to someone else. By the way, he's doing it.
You have to have somebody that's going to take those shots. The question is, how are you going to get those shots and will it make the team better?
Absolutely. I mean, he's doing it on okay shooting splits. He's not having the best shooting percentage, but that's still impressive on a team that definitely needs an offensive boost. Okay, enough about the going nowhere Brooklyn Nets. Let's go a little bit up. The Atlanta Hawks, where do you see them at the end of this year?
I see them not making the playoffs. I haven't even really kept up too much with the Hawks, but I see their record. I don't see them making the playoffs this year.
I agree with you that their ceiling is like a second round exit. That would be like a good achievement for this team. And I think one of the saddest things is that they haven't learned a way to play their point guards, Trey and the other dude. Kind of forgot his name now.
I will push them out. They right now, I would put the Nets and the Raptors above them to make the playoffs.
I would agree with you about the Raptors. All right, coming up next.
Cleveland got a good team.
They do.
As long as Allen and Mobley is healthy, Donovan Mitchell can always do it, and Garland got to be healthy too. Cleveland got a good team. I like the chances.
I love their talent. I love their raw talent. Darius Garland is one of my favorite players to watch, to be honest.
Yeah, he's nice.
He's just making the right play every time. He kind of looks like he doesn't care how much.
Yeah, he got like that Chris Paul way of seeing the game. He know how to get everybody off, kind of. And he could score anytime he wants.
Absolutely. And they got the two big men, Jared Allen and Evan Mobley.
Yeah.
I think Jared Allen was an all-star once. I mean, they're both like borderline all. They have like
Yeah,
four.
he was an all-star like 3 years ago, Allen. I don't know what happened, but he plays good. He plays hard every game, too.
They play hard, they play good. They have, shall I say, two all-stars in Garland and Mitchell. And they have two borderline all-stars in the other two.
Yeah.
I think there's a great heat check video. I'll send it to you when we finish the pod. I don't know if you know this guy, Heat Check. He did a video about Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
About his lack of passing. And he has some glaring examples of like people being wide open. And he will just take like a hard contested fadeaway two.
I ain't gonna lie, he ain't the only one doing that.
Absolutely.
I mean, this guy dropped 71 points to say, hey, I'm taking these shots. That's the way the NBA is.
Absolutely. The point to be made here that sometimes they actually perform better with Garland and the rest of them boys rather than with him.
I got Mitchell in the game?
Yeah.
Really?
I haven't looked too much into it. Obviously, it's still like a 28 points per game score or something. I don't even know. I just say it off my head. I don't even know, but...
I've seen Mitchell going off, saving. I mean, as long as you got... Yeah, if Mitchell is taking those shots, but you got a point guard like Darius Garland who gonna make the right play at the right time, I could see how they conflict a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So coming up next, this is a very exciting team.
The Pacers, they definitely going to the playoffs. Halliburton is a great player. Seen the other night, he had like 11 assists and about 25, 26 points.
I think
his game is kind of sleepy, though. He played like a Malcolm Brogdon a little bit.
So
somehow the game similar.
I think he's a easily top 5 point guard in the league right now.
Yeah, for sure.
One of the craziest stats, I'm sure you're not going to believe what I'm about to tell you, but the Pacers are right now having the best offense in league history. I know what.
Is the stats on?
I don't know. I'm going to come back to you with this, but they're scoring a lot of points. They're scoring a lot of points. It doesn't translate necessarily to such great success, but they're basically trying to outscore everyone, similar to what the Kings tried to do last year. Basically play no defense and just try to fast break everything.
I haven't watched him enough to analyze that, but I can see how you said the Kings was doing that. I thought that's what Golden State been doing the last few years. They changed the whole NBA with
That's what you remember. But all the years that they won, they had a top 10 defense.
Golden State.
Yeah. They had Clay as an amazing defensive stopper on the perimeter. They had Draymond Green, and they always had these what's his name?
Iguodala.
Yeah, they had a bunch of defensive stoppers. I forgot the guy that they got back last year. So, as much as we remember the Golden State offense, defense was always a part of it.
Yeah, they were solid on D.
I don't think there are many teams that won a championship not being a top 10
They had the
defense.
Gentleman too. I don't know why he's always slept on, but he's a solid 7-footer. Long.
So coming up next, we got the New York Knicks.
Man, in my personal opinion, Brunson shoot too much. You need to pass the damn ball sometime.
I think it kind of goes back to what we talked about.
Good, though. They're exciting, but Brunson, he needs to pass the ball.
They're exciting. I do think that their ceiling is actually lower than the Cleveland Cavaliers. I just think that the amount of raw talent that is in this team is just not as great. I might be wrong. They might knock them out again. Like they ate them alive last year. I think it was, 4-1?
Man, you know what? The little center need to step up. What's his name? Davion Mitchell? Or what is his name?
The Knicks, right?
Yeah.
We talked about him in the last podcast, I think, in regards to Mitchell Robinson.
Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah.
Come on, man. This guy's 7 foot long. Sometimes he have 10 rebounds. Sometimes. So
actually, for the season, Mitch Robinson is averaging 11 rebounds a game. He's scoring 6 points, though, per game.
Yeah, so, that's because Brunson is not passing the ball.
On 30 minutes game, 6 points. I mean, I do better in Roses sometimes.
That identifies what Brunson is not. He needs to go to the rack and get him a dunk. Because Julius Randle is playing the 4, but he's scoring the ball. But he gets his 9, 10, 11 rebounds sometime. But Brunson needs to pass the ball. You got Jay Barrett, and you got who's playing the 3?
Josh Hart, or Josh Hart plays the 2. Sorry.
Josh Hart starts now, right?
I think so.
Brunson needs to pass the ball. I think Knicks, if he was more of a passing guard, they would win more games.
Agreed.
But he's fun to watch. But he's like a 6 foot strong, he has a good shot left, but sometimes
It was a great steal from New York, but I think everybody knows that they're lurking for. They were rumored trying to get Giannis. They were rumored about. I don't think there's been a single star who made trade demands or was involved in trade talks that was not mentioned in regards of the New York Knicks. And hey, the fact that they made it this far just by signing free agents and making a few good trades, I'm quite impressed with the Knicks, which is not a thing I thought I will be saying.
they
But
need to bring that franchise name back, man.
exactly.
Who would you give up if you was to get an Embiid? Who would you give up for?
I think basically the entire team other than Bronson.
You can't give up the entire team. Then you
You know what I
start.
mean? Everyone that can ball in this team.
I mean, who
Because,
would you personally give up? Okay, you got to throw Mitchell Robinson in the
of
package,
course,
but then you got to give up two more of the starters. Who would you give up for Embiid? Mitchell Robinson plus two more
I
starters.
mean, Josh Hart, I guess. I mean, I know he's extremely loved in New York, but come on.
Man, nobody gonna want Hart. I don't know, but you gonna have to throw somebody else in. They're gonna be like, nah, give us Barrett. I mean, give us the point guard
Bronson.
Brunson. Give us Brunson and give us Barrett.
I don't think Philly would ever do that. Nevertheless, the New York Knicks do have a lot of draft picks coming up. So I guess the players would be a thing and the draft picks would be another thing because when you're rebuilding, obviously you want to get on young players and draft capital. So you don't really want proven players necessarily. You want potential and picks, you know? You don't want to be good right
Man,
now.
rebuilding take too long. I'm just for like, let's get it done now. Let's get some players this year because each year can always change big.
The only players that I realistically see that any team can be getting now, probably Malcolm Brogdon. He's not on the timeline of the tanking Portland Trailblazers.
He still be playing. He still be balling a little bit, but when his time is.
He's a good. Hey, you know what I like about
He
Brogdon?
was good in Milwaukee. I don't know why they traded him. He was balling, but he was balling with the Celtics too. Actually,
Was he sixth man of the year? Sixth man of the year 2023.
right.
Brogdon was the sixth man of the year.
Okay,
Yeah.
he's pretty. He's a solid point guard. Him and Hollyberg, they shoot. They got these shots like.
Man, he had a 90 50 40 split on I think was rookie or second season in Milwaukee.
Yeah,
He's a very good shooter. And he's a good guy, he's a humble guy, and I love that. You don't see that often in this league, a guy that just say, hey, I'm a number two, I'm a number three, I don't care, I do what the team needs me to do.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they should be. I mean, I'd be humble for a lot of money too. No, not like that.
I'd be humble to getting 17 mil a year.
I don't know what money does, but yeah.
Coming up next is the last year finalist Miami Heat, fifth seed right now in the East.
Miami always gonna go to the playoffs.
They've been in 3 out of 4 last conference finals.
Yeah.
How
They got
is
some dogs. They got defense. Spokestra is pretty good. He's been there a long time now. And yeah.
I have no idea how they do it, but every year we're going to disrespect them. They've started, I think, this year like 1-5 or something, and we all said that's it. They're finally done. They lost Max Strus last year. They lost Vincent. They didn't really do much to replace them, and now they're done. And all of a sudden, this team finds itself in the fifth seed again, 10-7.
Yeah. And what's his name? The shooting guard, he's always hurt too now.
Tyler Hero, which
You know.
paradoxically, Miami wins when he's out. They've
Yeah.
won the entire playoff. He comes back against Boston, starts winning. He goes down now. Miami starts winning. I'm not saying that they're better without their top scorer. I'm just saying it's weird.
I mean, Duncan Robinson sometimes comes through and
Duncan Robinson has been great this year. He's increased his 2-point shot attempt.
yeah.
He's been taking more layups, which opened up his 3-point shooting actually. Because teams know he can actually finish at the rim right now, which he couldn't do in previous years. And he's been balling. Do you see them making another finals run?
No. Miami will not go to the finals. They will be eliminated first round this year.
Do you remember that they climbed all the way up from the, correct me if I'm wrong, they climbed all the way up from the plane last year, right?
Yeah.
They almost lost to Chicago.
And they play solid D. Spokestra is a vet now. And they got Butler, Adebayo, the shooter, like you said. I mean, like I said. But
I don't know how they keep doing it, but here they are, and probably we're going to be talking about them in April even more. Coming up next is Philadelphia 76ers. One of the most pleasant surprise this year, in my opinion. Go ahead, Jason.
yeah, the Sixers is great. Embiid, he's the number one scorer right now. And then Maxey, they just got some key pieces. If Embiid get hurt, then it's gonna be shaky. But as long as Embiid is playing, Embiid would average 40 points if he just posted up about 5 times. Like he has a big body, but the game has changed. The center shoots jumpers. I can't. Sorry, I can never fail to mention that. I'm like, dude, y'all big man. I'm like Shaquille O'Neal era. Like I seen him just bodying. You know
In
what I'm saying?
your era, centers didn't have to shoot threes.
No, Shaq would have never shot a three.
Nowadays, a center that doesn't shoot threes, not a good center.
Man, I don't know what's going on. Embiid, I would like to see him catch the ball down low quick, and he would be more of a dominant, even more of a dominant player, more of probably a championship team.
Honestly, I love what is happening there in Philly. I love watching the development of Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah,
Obviously,
he had it last year too. Was balling.
The thing that surprises me is that you lose a player like Harden, you replace him with Nick Batum and Robert Covington, and all of a sudden you are one of the best teams in the NBA.
I mean, man, it's the beginning, man. We can't get too far. I didn't seen them. I didn't seen San Antonio last year, if I'm not mistaken, started off like in 2 or something.
Obviously, we can't get ahead of ourselves.
And then from there, they went horrible. Like it's one of the worst records in the league after that. I'm like, okay, I thought there was gonna be something.
So right now you have 5 guys averaging double digits for Philly. You got obviously Joel with 32, Maxey with 26. You got Tobias Harris with 18 points, Anthony Melton with 12, and Kelly Oubre with 16. If you've heard about the latest Oubre fiasco.
Oubre, he's on. Yeah. Wait, he's on Philly now?
He's in Philly. He's been balling this year. He's been averaging 16 points a game. I think it's one of the highest since his rookie year or something. And as of recent, he has been hurt in a car accident.
Oh, wow.
He claimed that a car bumped into him, did like a hit and run. He gave the accurate street intersection in Philly. And guess what?
What he hurt?
His rib. He's broke one of his ribs.
Oh my God, he's done.
Police looked it up, and there is absolutely no footage of Kelly Oubre being injured.
But he has a broken rib.
Check out the weirder thing. On a video when he comes back home, he is bringing back his bicycle. A video that he, for some reason, released. That he tells his wife his partner that he got hit by a car or whatever. The thing is, there is a rumor boiling right now that he was riding his mountain bikes and he didn't want to say it because, they have this clause in the contract that they're not allowed to do mountain bikes.
Oh yeah? I don't know about that.
Of course, they're not allowed to ski. They're not allowed to do things that will risk their body, basically, because their body is the Philadelphia 76ers property. I'm kidding.
Basically.
So I don't know if that's kind of what happened to Jay Williams, ESPN Jay Williams.
Yeah, I know. He was in a motorcycle accident.
Exactly.
I got these huge hands, bro. Like, I was like, whoa, that was my favorite college player, bro, at Duke. Like, I remember him hitting like 10 threes in one game. He ruined his career, man. That's terrible.
That's terrible. And for your information, the Chicago Bulls did not have to pay him. They ended up paying him as an act of mercy. I think it was 2-3 million. It was finished his first year. And that's the thing. He can lose a lot of money if Philly finds out that Oubre was actually riding his bicycle.
On a regular bike, a mountain bike.
Mountain bike, yeah. You're not allowed to mountain bike when you're playing for the NBA.
That's LeBron. It's like a way of conditioning,
I didn't make the contract.
Might be a motorcycle or something with a motor.
Mountain bicycle. Check it out. I'll send you the video later. There's a guy who made a video about it. AM Hoops made a really nice video about this whole thing. All right. Okay. So we're hoping that Kelly Oubre will come back healthy and come back balling because 76ers needs him.
Prayers for Oubre.
Coming up, number 3, Milwaukee Bucks.
I would predict Milwaukee Bucks to be in the Eastern Conference Championship this year.
Woo.
If everybody's healthy.
That was my pick. That was my original pick to either make it to the finals or win the championship last year. I am, however, a little bit scared after watching them play. I mean, they've been... sorry?
They're just catching the rhythm, man, when Giannis need to bring it in Lillard.
I agree. I do think that Chris Middleton cannot be averaging 11 points if this team wants to win a championship.
I think, man, he ain't been the same since he came back off that injury.
I
would get rid of Milton.
The thing is, he was their closer, at this finals run against the Nets, if you remember, because let's face it, to get like a good jump shot, that's not really Giannis's game. So it was kind of like poor man Shaq and Kobe,
Yeah.
because obviously Middleton
Nah,
is
but
not a
that when
Kobe.
was that? That was like 3 years ago, though.
Yeah,
He
that's what I'm
was
saying. He haven't been back. Like I'm.
he's Middleton. He gotta go. No, I'm more like okay. They do need somebody
I would
who
keep. I would try to get Malcolm Brogdon back if he's on the trade market.
that would be a good look
That would be a great.
because he can play the two and the three too.
Yeah, he doesn't need the ball, and he can definitely score more than 11 points. And another thing that they have to address is their defense. I haven't looked it up, but if I remember correctly, they were about top 5 defense in the NBA last year. I think they went all the way down to like
Giannis,
20.
Giannis is so he plays D still, but he's so sucked into the offense. No, he can't do everything every time. I think Brook Lopez needs to step it up as far as defense wise. He's slow as hell though. He's like a statue moving.
Brook Lopez?
Yeah.
Hey, the other night they had he had 30 something points.
Every now and then he was a solid player with the Nets back in his time.
I think it was one first time or one of the few times in history when the Bucks had 3 players scoring over 30. Obviously Dame, Giannis, and Brook.
I think I've seen
I
that.
have not. Anyway, awesome for them. If Brook Lopez can fill in the gap scoring wise where Middleton left, that would be good.
He's not consistent though. He's old. He's an old guy.
Obviously, if they could have, they would have traded Chris and keep Drew. But yeah, I don't think the Blazers would ever do that.
I didn't really see the reason for that trade except they needed more of a they needed a superstar. Well, I wouldn't say Dame's a superstar, but they needed more of a scorer.
Do you
to
know?
fit Giannis?
Do you know what's the direct cause of this trade?
What?
Giannis's interview, or was it a podcast where he said that he needs to look into his future and which place gives him the best chances to win again?
Yeah, I seen that.
Boom.
Actually.
Week later, Dame is there.
Yeah, and now he said he's committed. Would he sign a 4-year
Yeah,
contract?
he basically signed an extension that would keep him there as long as Dame is there.
Yeah.
Which obviously means nothing in today's NBA because they both might get disgruntled and want to be traded out of there, which again gives me back to a segment that we had earlier about the whole player empowerment thing that kill me, but I cannot understand in the love of God why, if you're Kevin Durant and Kyrie, you're 4th seed last year, you're playing with each other, you already built chemistry, you have depth, they had Patty Mills, they had Blake Griffin, they had, I don't remember even who they had a Cam Thomas on the bench they didn't even know about. Why are you getting traded from this team, AD, to another top heavy super team that have basically the same problems your Brooklyn Nets had?
I mean, you got to look at it like this. Durant left, Irving left, Harden left. What the hell is going on up there in Brooklyn?
If I'm
That's
the Brooklyn
like
Nets,
2 or 3 years, they all left, you know?
if I'm the Nets GM, I'm telling KD, hey, you're under contract. You're playing here until we say otherwise. That's what I think. Otherwise, why do we even sign contracts? If as soon as you don't want to be here, you just force your way out.
It seemed like the players got a lot more rights and freedom now, though.
They do. There are, however, many segments in the new CBA right now regarding, what do you call it, load management.
Yeah.
Teams will actually get fined if they do load management. Obviously, they just start naming weird injuries and whatever, like a back spasm or whatever, just to not get fined.
Come on, man. Some of them I think it's certain pains you expected to play through. And there's certain ones where you like, nah, man, then if I play through it and it don't heal, it's gonna ruin my career. So I see it as both sides. That's funny that load management. Like that just sound like some video game shit itself, you know.
That's actually where analytics kind of ruined the game in a way, because they actually found out that if you play a player less minutes, blah blah blah, you reduce his chances of injury by this and this percent. And me as the average fan, I say screw that. I'm watching the game to watch LeBron, AD, Kawhi, Jokic, Doncic. I want to watch all the stars. And
I mean, they human too, man. You gotta like.
Obviously, I'm not talking about here and there. I'm talking about what Kawhi did last year and what, let's call it the Kawhi rule that the NBA is trying to enforce.
I mean, I'm like, yeah, of course you want to pay and come see these guys play. But from a player's point, if you're sitting out that long, clearly you got some type of injury where it's to where you don't want to re-aggravate it. You don't want to
Re-aggravate it.
To heal. Man, these guys playing with injuries that they never even talk about, that you don't hear in the media. Because
Absolutely.
you can get hurt, like Julio growing or something. You ever did
Absolutely.
that? That hurts to
I'm
play
just saying
through.
you cannot give the message to the fans that the regular season doesn't matter. Because I don't know if you know, but the NBA's ratings throughout the regular season are horrendous.
It's bad.
It's very bad. I mean, if you compare it to the NFL, it's like not even a fraction. It's extremely bad. And I think part
I
of the
could
reason
understand
is
that now.
sorry?
I could understand that.
Yeah, so that's part of the reason why the league is trying to fight a little bit that phenom. But yeah, I totally respect your view on it coming as an ex-player. That's very
Yeah,
clear.
that's kind of where I'm coming from. Imagine in 82 games. I mean, that's what you get the money for. You're the team's bitch. So you know what. But at the end of the day, you are still human. We used to play in high school. We played what, like 35 games or something through the season.
How many times did the MJ played 82 games or close to 82 games? I think most of his career.
Yeah, some guys just build different.
What I'm saying.
The goat, the goat is definitely built different.
We're going to jump to the next team, which is number 2 in the East. Definitely one of the biggest surprises of the season.
Number 2 is
Orlando Magic.
all right. I mean, actually, I knew Orlando would be 12-5. I knew they would be. I like their team. I wish they would have kept Bobo.
Yeah. Sadly, I mean, Ball is fun to watch. Definitely.
Yeah.
He's like 70%.
He averaged 20 and 10 in college.
He's like 70% legs and 30% body. But I actually don't know if Ball is a situational problem, like he hasn't been put in the right situation, or he's actually not that good.
I mean, he's okay. He's too skinny to play center. Clearly need to push a couple of weights. But other than that, you take away his height. What does he really have?
One of his problems, he got dribble. He got handles. He got med handles. The thing is, he doesn't have a shot.
I see. I don't know. He need more confidence. He hasn't been put in the right situation, though, because I like him. He averaged 20 and 10 in college.
I mean, look, he played for a contending Nuggets. That didn't work. I think he played in Boston at some point. That didn't work. Then he's been put on a tanking Magic team. That doesn't work. Some point you need to ask yourself, like, hey, okay.
Now he in Phoenix.
I don't think he's playing. I haven't watched him playing a minute.
I've seen him play like in the preseason, one game, I think.
So
yeah, I don't know. He has to find his what he does best and do it.
I'm going to read to you
go block shots, go rebound. You gotta find roles in the league because the NBA is a superstar based league.
Absolutely.
Imagine you running up and down the court and you ain't touched the ball 8 or 9 times.
Absolutely. I think his biggest problem was just efficiency. He was just not making, I think it was 18 points of 3 or something. And that makes you unplayable in the NBA, unfortunately. If you're not an extreme force in the paint or something like that. Anyway, the Orlando Magic, they got nobody averaging over 20. We got Paolo Banchero as their top scorer. They got Franz Wagner, Cole Anthony with 15, Moritz Wagner, Jalen Suggs.
Actually, these stats it's pretty spread out. That's why they won.
Yeah, they got a lot of talent there. They got a lot of talent, and their future seems bright.
Wagner was balling. Franz Wagner was balling in the Olympic. What was that? The Olympics or the World Cup?
Yeah, their future seems bright. I don't think they are a second seed in April. I need to see more in order to believe in this team.
Yeah,
but I think they will just. I don't think they'll have a home court advantage in the first round. That's what I'm saying. 5-8.
You know who average went down? Wendell Carter Jr.
I know. It was a big promise. He came there in the Vooch trade from.
He was balling last year, and
I think he only played 5 games. I think he's injured.
Okay, yeah, right.
It's quite interesting what the Orlando Magic did. They were like, all right, Markelle Fultz is a bust. Let us try to revive him. Ball is a bust. Let us try to revive him. It's like, just give us more busts.
He can't even shoot. He can't shoot a jumper to save his life, Fultz. But he athletic.
He's averaging 8.6. Yeah, he's top rebounder in the team.
He's fast, but I don't know what happened. He was the number 1 pick coming out of college.
So we're going to finish off with the number 1 seed. Obviously, the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
The scary Boston Celtics.
So much to be said. They balling. They got Porzingis is averaging what, like 23?
Let me have a quick look. So they got obviously Jason Tatum averaging 28, Jaylen Brown averaging 21, KP, Kristaps Porzingis with 19, Derek White with 13. They got a nice looking team, man. Drew Holiday. Whew.
What's Holiday average?
Holiday's averaging 12
I know the
assists.
score will go down, but they solid on defense too. I don't know now. Now I got to reconsider Milwaukee and the Celtics.
I mean, the way it looks now, it seems kind of obvious that Celtics is the best team in the NBA or the second best team after the Nuggets.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's hard to beat Giannis, though.
It's hard to beat Giannis. Nevertheless,
I think he was hurt for a minute last year, right? In the playoffs? Did he miss a game?
He was hurt indeed, yeah. He was hurt for 2 games, I think, in the middle of that first round embarrassing exit against Miami. I think one of the biggest problems was that Drew Holiday was guarding Jimmy Butler. Even in that last play with that little push-off. Why didn't Giannis guard Jimmy Butler? This is one of the things. It made Drew looks bad. It got their coach fired.
Switch.
Sorry?
Might have been. You mean like he was guarding him the whole game or through it?
I believe so. I believe he was guarding him for most of the series, and obviously was not doing a great job. This was the best series Jimmy had the entire playoffs.
They got him listed as like 6'8", 6'7.5", so 6'3". I don't care what. You ain't guarding 6'8".
Exactly, that's one thing, and the second thing, it got Budenholzer fired this first round exit.
Yeah. Oh, they fired Budenholzer after that.
Yeah, it was not a good look. The first seed getting knocked out by the play-in tournament 8th seed Miami Heat. Anyway, the Boston Celtics look quite unstoppable at the moment. The only negative I can say right now is that Jaylen Brown hasn't been performing very well.
That $200 million and he already showing
300 million 5 years.
Oh, it was 300? No.
Fattest contract in NBA history. It is due to the salary cap spike because of the new CBA. So he would have gotten less, but he was eligible for an extension right when the spike happened, and they wanted to show him that, hey, we believe in you. You and JT have been bringing us to the finals or conference finals ever since you guys got drafted. That first year run against Cleveland, they were up 3-2, almost made it to the finals without Kyrie and without Gordon Hayward.
If he getting $300 million, how much Tatum gonna get when his contract comes?
Tatum is getting less because he signed his extension a few years before.
Okay.
I think JT was drafted a year before Jaylen Brown, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, obviously he's gonna get more. It's not because they value him more than Jason Tatum. It was just to show him that, hey, we believe in you and we'll pay you as much as we're allowed to pay you.
Yeah, let's hope he don't get hurt for a whole season.
Honestly, that's the only thing. If you watch a little bit of Celtics, he is sometimes
he's hurt throughout the season a little bit.
He's forcing it a little bit. He has horrible handles when it comes to passing, like he doesn't pass. And even if he does, like his assist to turnover ratio is a disaster. He makes at least as much turnovers as he makes assists. And bad decision making, just very bad decision making. That last game 7, if you go back and watch it, he was terrible against Miami when they almost completed that 3-0 comeback. But he's the only negative in the team right now, and I think part of it is like kind of trying to prove like, hey, here's why I got paid 300 mil. Like, let me show you I'm still like I'm the dog or whatever. And
there must be a lot of pressure though.
In a way, but in another way, it's like, hey, we paid you. Just do what the team needs you in order to win. Because I think Kristaps needs to get more shots. Kristaps has been their second best player.
Yeah, I mean he's pretty efficient. He's 7'3". What is he? 7'3"?
Quick look. So he's actually averaging a bit below his 3-point percentage, but field goal percentage 54%. He's been taking, I think, 6 or 7 shots less than Jaylen Brown. And yeah, I just feel like Jaylen Brown forces it a little bit too much.